IVM.
Alright, simplified is where they take stories that you can't understand and make it even more difficult to understand. If you need that in your life, it's called marriage. Simplified, 3 young men with a mission. Their names, Chuck, Naren and Sriket. That's right, simplify their names first. Simplify. New episodes out on the IVM podcast website, app or wherever you get your podcast from. Alright, please note that the language and ideas presented on the show might not be suitable for everyone. If you're under 18, make sure your mom isn't around. If you're over 80, why is your mom around?
You're listening to Cyrus Says.
Okay, if you have 50,000 crore rupees and don't know what to do with your life, what do you do? But I started this podcast, but it's not about me. It's about Nihaal Mariwala, co-founder of Setu, a man who's going to change health in India, or so he says.
Why follow your auntie's advice when you can follow Cyrus Says on Facebook and Twitter to stay updated about the latest shows?
All right, here on Cyrus Says, conundrum, problem, issue that I've been thinking about. When you're walking in a hurry and someone ahead of you is holding you up because there's only so much space and they're walking really slow, in a slow fashion, what do you do? Because you can't honk, you don't know who they are, so you don't want to actually say excuse me loudly or whatever, especially the old people. Is it right to push them aside slightly and get past because you'll have to make some sort of contact? Or is it wrong, you just wait patiently with your head down, which is our Indian culture, wait for nothing to happen and then let the time pass by even though you're in a hurry? My answer is, like a rugby player, you tackle them and you smack them and you go as fast as you can. Because people should understand that right of way should always be given to the person who's in a hurry because you have no idea why they're running. For example, you could be pregnant. But don't look at me. It's called Cyrus Says.
And that's what Cyrus says.
Okay, it's time to get back to a health professional. As you know, I'm about to die, probably a week or so left in my life. Oxygen is receding as we speak, but that's primarily because of infrastructure, Nihal.
Right.
It's not to do with me. Mm-hmm. We live in a city, part of many cities in the country which are crumbling as we speak. Not to mention Maratha agitation in the background, which means I won't be able to sell your products for 3 months. Things are all over the place. But let me introduce you. Nihaal is from the famous Mariwala family. He's the co-founder of Setu and the son of
Sanjay.
Omni Active.
Oh, that's not right.
What the hell does that mean?
Yeah, that's my dad's company.
Well,
I'm certainly not the
Sanjaya
son.
Mariwala is the right name.
That's the
but
one.
for some reason, we've given him the title of Omni Active MD. But I'll let you set it all up because this is all silly stuff that we get out of Google and it goes in any order. Suffice to say, you're from Cathedral and John Connon School, Mumbai.
Yes, sir.
Forced to go there myself. Hated the damn place. But we are probably 2 generations apart. So if I mention teachers like Mr. Kuriakos,
No.
I don't even know if he's alive.
No, I think there's probably only one
Scary.
overlap.
Who is the overlap?
Mrs. Isaacs, probably.
Oh God, she's forever, right?
She's the only overlap.
She's forever. She's the ghost who walks, the phantom.
Yeah.
Untouchable, unbelievable, really. But that's digressing for a second. But meeting people from the same schools, colleges, etc.
Yeah.
It's a bit embarrassing as you age because the conversation becomes darker.
Yeah.
Because people are dying, things are changing. Oops. So we'll leave it at that. Okay, quick background. After that, you went to Cornell, is it?
Yes, I did, yeah.
And a professional background, you spent 2 years in Omni Actives, is it?
Omni Actives.
Morristown in New Jersey, is it?
In New Jersey, yeah.
And then 2 years in Mumbai.
And then, yeah.
Downgrade.
Yeah, a little bit of a downgrade. Not so
So you were Tony Soprano.
I don't know, have
for
you
2
ever
years.
been to Morristown?
I don't know, is it anywhere near Queens?
No.
And then hobbies are football, cricket, gymming, art and drawing. Okay, so let's start with you. Let's start in the beginning.
Sure.
Let's start with the brand, which is your thing right now.
Yes.
This is huge at the moment, right? What do we call this? Wellness?
Yeah, a little bit of wellness, a little bit of dietary supplements, preventive nutrition. There's a lot of guys in the space now. There's like New Age Ayurveda and that type of thing also.
But what happened, Nihal, when I was a young man thousands of years ago? I think there was like Bonvita.
Yeah.
7 C's.
Yeah.
My mom used to force to have this cod liver oil, very
Yes.
smelly, ugly thing.
Yes.
And she kept saying that I would grow taller. I
Yes.
found out it's got nothing to do with height years
Oh,
later.
you turned out pretty tall.
Are you mad? My dad's 6.
Oh, damn.
No, the milkman's 5'7", 5'8". But he also left us for some reason. I'm not saying anything.
Right.
My parents don't hear this podcast, so we can get away with murder. So there was nothing out there in the 80s, 90s really growing up.
Yeah.
And suddenly, as you just mentioned, we've got all kinds of options. First and foremost, do we really need all this stuff?
Sure.
Because there are the cynics out there who say like,
Yes.
God, what is this? Why do you take all these sulfate of vitamins and what have you? So what's your answer?
My answer is obviously a little bit of yes and no. I think it depends kind of on your circumstance and where you are. But the kind of reality is that bulk of the health issues that we have are caused by diet and nutrition more than anything else. And there are things that are addressable by, protein deficiency, for example, in India is
huge,
staggering.
We're a carb country, no?
We're a carb country, and we're a so much so of an anti-protein country that I was reading today. State governments don't want to put eggs in midday meals.
Correct.
So things like that are, fundamental issues that have to be addressed.
The reason
through
being
supplementation.
The animal issue?
The animal issue. That they're non-vegetarian.
All right.
Yeah.
So we're going to have a huge problem going forward if we don't consume protein and we try to find protein from leafy sources and perhaps not get enough protein, etc., etc.
I mean, you can get protein from leafy sources and dals and stuff like that.
You don't want to hurt any lobby here.
No. You got to be careful about what you say, right?
Smart boy, New Jersey, I tell you. Makes you a man.
But I mean, they do cause big problems having deficiencies in proteins, vitamins, for example, lots of vitamin D, vitamin B.
If you go around the country also, there's also the thing which I think no other culture really has. We sometimes have 2 or 3 complex carbs in a meal, which is normal growing up,
it's
right?
Very carb
you have rice and roti together.
It's very carb heavy. It's kind of crazy. Yeah, I don't think there's anything like it anywhere else.
No, they will just have one bread, which is horrible, but they'll have just the one bread with their whatever meat or whatever other sauce.
Unless you go to like maybe Italy, but they do everything.
We must have spoiled them. They're very similar to us, aren't they? Yeah.
That's a big problem.
So my question is because I'm sold on this now. I think I'm also in a trap. Some of us who use it, it's almost like I won't use the word drug addiction, but it's an addiction. But once you start taking one thing, and they say, okay, this is for the heart, this is for the liver, this is for the kidney.
You can just keep going.
Blood circulation. There's no end to it, and also you're thinking I have to be more specific now. I can't take these multivitamins and just one size fits all stuff, and you research yourself. And because of the internet out there, we all research, and most of it is like positive and about take this, take that, take this.
Yes.
So my worry is that there's no end to it.
There is no end to it, really. And I think a lot of the stuff.
How can you say that you're selling it?
No. So I mean, that's a good thing for me also in a sense. But
don't make me call daddy.
So what's happening a lot is people are starting to become a lot more specific about what they take based on their own personal conditions, right? So, in the US, for example, you see this whole field called nutrigenomics, which is DNA testing, and then you kind of tailor your diet to your DNA or your microbiome or stuff like that.
So is that a good thing, tracing genetics? And but we do that with animals, let's be honest. We've been doing that for years and years. You sort of breed them and sort of get the qualities and all put together by the sheer force of genetics.
So I actually did one of those tests, and I think it's
you're a direct descendant of Genghis Khan?
I'm not, unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
But
you're not a marauding rapist, murderer, killer.
Not from that blood.
Conquistador,
But it does a little bit less of that, and it talks a little bit more about how you, for example...
One sec, I just got the joke. Not from that blood.
It talks about how, for example, you can't metabolize caffeine, or you...
what does that mean? You can't digest it?
It means your body digests caffeine a little bit slower than the average person, for example. Or
So a 300 or 200 mg hit of caffeine hits us differently, is it?
Exactly. It hits everyone differently.
So that's the whole point of trying to pick up a bottle when, whatever's written there, as you said, if it doesn't hit me the same way it hits you, it's a little pointless after a point.
Yeah, so then you may have to take 600 or something like that. And that's true not just of caffeine, but of bulk of...
So is this the future, that we have to have a genetic blueprint pulled out and we sort of look at it? And
I kind of don't love the idea that it's so structured, and there's obviously a charm to the spontaneity of a meal and, not being so pre-programmed and stuff like that. But...
we're killing the romance of a simple lunch.
Yeah, we are killing the romance a little bit. But I think in today's day and age, people are becoming a lot more kind of focused about what you put on your plate, where it comes from. Almost more concerned about where it comes from than what you put on your plate sometimes.
That's another battle altogether, but I'm asking you from the point of view of everybody has their own, thanks to the internet too, and perhaps because of people around, has their own opinion. Right now, you're in the business, you have a serious opinion, you're investing money in it and research and all that. But still, you're going to deal with people who are all going to say, but I heard this and I heard that. As against, say, 20 years back when it's your word and we'll accept it.
Yes. So part of the way we approach things is, and the way I see things, because obviously I'm also exposed to so many of these products on a daily basis. I really look for either ingredients that really have a tradition in food, and they're really food based in a sense, and you have to look at things that have been clinically documented in humans, because you will often read. You'll
Yes,
see.
tried on rabbits. What does that mean?
You'll see someone shares on Facebook like this thing helps your hair grow back.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's been.
Does
tried
anything help your hair grow back?
No, I don't think so.
So that's not a myth,
if I knew
right?
the answer to that question,
I would think so. I would think if they really had like Anup Herol, I love the guy and I hope they come on our podcast one day. Mr. and Mrs. Anup, you're welcome. But if it really worked, why would anybody be bored?
Yeah.
We just go, Anup Herol, 2 days later, I'm back. Ready for my second marriage.
I don't know that that's going to be the case, but...
you don't have to diss them, don't worry. I'll do it. Yeah, so it's a bit of an odd thing. But what about, I wanted to ask you a slightly more dangerous question.
Sure.
Which is, if I feel my wife has a temper, is there something I can give her from the Setu collection that will bring down the temper?
I don't know that I can help you with that.
Unless
you tell me what the root cause of
the
that
young
temper
lady is
is.
pointing at something.
Oh, right. So part of this is an interesting area of research, actually.
Your gut.
Yes, a lot of research now today talks about how a lot of the issues in your brain come from your stomach.
Right.
Basically, your stomach governs all of your behavior.
Yeah.
In terms of you have this thing
Mood
called,
swing?
Everything. Yeah, mood swings.
From digestion.
Yes.
So people go to bad moods.
Fundamentally from the fact that your digestive system is not working the way it should be. Which frankly makes sense to me. I've had times
That's
where...
quite funny. I was thinking somebody's dissing you and abusing you, you turn around and say, Imodium.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so that's there's a lot of research around that. And you have this thing called the microbiome, which is your gut, which is insane numbers of bacteria that all interact with each other, play off against each other for your
There's
digestive
a good bacteria
system.
and a bad bacteria, right? For
exactly.
those who don't know.
Exactly. For your digestive system and also your brain and your skin and stuff like that.
This is like the illegal immigrants in Assam.
Yes,
Those guys who belong to India and those guys who have to go to Bangladesh.
Yes,
so
exactly.
Bacteria are very similar.
Exactly.
And please, Bangladeshis, don't write into us. I don't mean it that way. I'm just trying to get a metaphor which people can identify with in this day and age because our podcast listeners are all hugely intellectual and politicized kind of people who are very into xenophobia and things like that, which we promote on the show without even knowing what we're doing. No, okay, we're joking about this, but that's another interesting one thing, of course, is a blueprint about genetics. We've heard the theory before, and like you said, you don't want to kill the romance and just program yourself for the next 10 generations. But coming back to this is it a holistic approach when you look at bacteria as the problem?
Yeah, so bacteria are not actually the problem, right?
The balance of bacteria?
The balance of bacteria, yeah. So getting the good bacteria in there and making sure that you avoid the bad stuff.
So there is good bacteria for those of you out there who don't know.
Yeah, there are good bacteria.
You can't afford a dog, don't want a goldfish, get yourself good bacteria.
Always a good option.
Teach them to fetch.
Yeah.
Just ate some liver and kidney. Oh, God, scary. Yeah. So this will affect the mood swing? Now, this is jokes apart. I'm asking you seriously. You think so?
Presuming that it comes from her gut, yes, I think it should.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's trace this a little bit. So, how did you decide to get into this? Mariwala family is in the pharmacy business.
In the food business, kind of the food and natural.
Don't you have a place in Alibag as well?
Business.
Big place?
One of my aunts or uncles, probably. Yeah.
Okay, it's right close to ours.
Oh, right.
Makes ours look like the servants' quarters. Felt really bad about that, but
definitely
not mine. I'll let you off the hook.
Yeah, definitely not mine.
I'll need a lot of pills to get over that. Every time I pass, for self-esteem, what do we take, for example? And don't blame the bacteria for everything.
I can't.
Yeah. So let's trace the growth of this business. How did you, Nihal, get into it? You finished school, you went to America?
Yeah,
then?
so it's kind of a little bit of a longer story than that. Funnily enough, in college, I believe we studied the same thing, political science.
What are you saying?
Yes. Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah.
Which did you go to any college in Bombay?
No, I went to...
Did you sat and ran away?
Yes, I did,
Okay.
yeah. I was actually only in Bombay for 2 years. I was in Cathedral for 2 years and then I...
The 11th and 12th?
Yes.
And then you went to Cornell?
And then I went off to Cornell,
Okay,
yes.
and political science, is it?
Political science, yes.
But
and history.
But their thing will be a little different from ours because, you're missing out on the Indian political science.
Yeah, I missed out on a lot of the action.
There's fact, there's fiction, there's non-fiction, there's, that's a huge...
I missed out on a lot of that action.
And you're pre-Donald Trump.
I came back at the right time. I came back in 2015, so the perfect storm.
Post-Donald Trump. No, 2016.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
pre-Donald Trump.
All right. What were you trying to say? Who are you pointing fingers at? I was saying with America, big bad America far away.
No, nothing.
Yeah. All right, sorry to interrupt. So we went to Cornell. What was on your mind?
Political science and history was on my mind.
And to do what?
I had no idea. I knew I was interested in this stuff. Didn't know what I wanted to do.
No pressure from dad, no pressure.
So a little bit of pressure, definitely, where he kept saying...
what will you do with a history major? Love history, but what are you going to do?
No, less about that, I think, and more about just, study whatever you want to. But think, I was in that kind of angry phase of my life where I was like, I don't even want to entertain the possibility of doing anything related to the family
Note
business.
to self, so male PMS does exist, as told by the master.
And we don't have anything to deal with it.
No, not yet. But bacteria. Okay.
And he kept saying, why don't you try out something to do with this new... He had started OmniActives, which is the kind of predecessor to Setu, as a new business.
So what would they do? What is OmniActives? Just very quickly.
OmniActives makes ingredients
Right.
for supplements and food.
So they provide the basic ingredients for the supplements?
Yes.
Okay.
So, they don't do fish oil, but something like that. If you had the input ingredient, it would come from OmniActives.
Okay.
And they, the reason that happened is because my family's been in the food business for a very long time, and in the spice business fundamentally.
Right.
Which is where my last name comes from.
Right. Oh, is that it?
Yeah.
Mari means spice?
Pepper.
What are you saying?
Yeah.
I thought it meant the end of the person.
No, sir.
Gujarati is Mari Gayu like that, so I thought maybe...
Yeah, fair. Also, very fair. It is Gujarati, but it's pepper.
It is,
yeah.
right? So it's not stupid to think, put it together.
Yeah.
I just thought, they like death or something, and boom. All right, so Mari is pepper.
Mari is pepper,
That's excellent to know.
Yeah.
All right.
And so we started off in the pepper business, and then the chili and ginger and turmeric. And my dad started to see that a lot of this stuff was going to the US into healthcare ends, rather than going into strict flavor.
So they started using spice for health,
They started using spices for health.
Is that so?
Fundamentally. Turmeric, for example, is a very hot...
Turmeric is, yeah.
Ginger is also kind of popular. Not spice as much as natural extracts.
I know where you're going with it. Okay, fair enough.
Plant extracts. And so he set up this business 10, 15 years ago. And he said, why don't you come and work for me? It's new, you might like it, blah, blah, blah. There's no uncles involved. There's no, anyone else. It's just you and me. And so I went and worked for him for 4 years. But it was always kind of building up to... He actually kept saying to me, he was like, now you got to get out of here. Like, you've learned enough.
So this is pre-Cornell or post-Cornell?
Post-Cornell.
Okay, fair enough.
Immediately after.
All right. So how does it work with dad? Can you tell him, Dad, I want to go early match on television?
No, that's a little bit difficult.
No?
He still definitely works harder than I do.
Oh, God.
Yeah, his hours are crazy. I don't know how he does it. But...
it's a generation thing, man.
I think it is,
They just worked at a time when work was more physical in terms of time. And you come from a generation where it doesn't add up that way. You can your value of the company can be in 1 hour what another person will do in 9 hours. Because
Thank you.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying how to explain to people. It just happened too quickly the last 15 years.
Yeah.
I mean, telling that to Abbas, a producer, it's just too quick, the whole change in the way the world is functioning.
Yeah, and now, they don't belong to that school of thought where you can work from anywhere or stuff like
disciplined,
that.
young man.
And you gotta, say 5 hours a night you sleep, too bad. You wake up at 8 in the morning and go to the office.
Does he punish you? Like sit-ups and all that?
No.
If you're late?
That's a bit weird.
Does he mark you half day?
No.
Does he cut your salary?
No.
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 Does he take away your car?
No. Sometimes.
He does?
No, I'm just kidding. He doesn't.
He may listen to the podcast. You be nice.
He might, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So here's the interesting thing. You went to study politics. We'll come back to your 4 years in Mumbai. You go to Cornell, politics and history. So what were you going to do with that?
Nothing. I couldn't find a job when I was
education.
graduating. Yeah, just education.
You didn't have a plan? Maybe I'll get into journalism?
No,
I don't know.
I considered a few possibilities. I thought about...
Were you an angry young man in the sense one of those guys who wants to change society, change the world?
Well, yes,
all that?
Definitely.
And now you're selling...
And now I'm selling dietary supplements, yeah.
You have changed the world.
Yeah, I
For
have,
bacteria.
yeah.
Peter, I'm so proud of you.
Everyone knows about good bacteria.
There you go, yeah. Now, we're joking about this, but this is an interesting thing. So you have a lot of fire in your belly. You went there. You've seen things. That you can't...
So when I went there, I started off studying business, actually. And I took 2...
Don't hide the business degree. That's the one that makes sense.
No.
It used to.
Yeah, I took 2 classes and it was...
Boring?
It was awful.
And Indians everywhere?
Not actually. But I probably would have been if I was an engineer or something. You know? But
I thought business was a new Indian thing.
Yeah, it is.
Engineer was my generation. Then I went to business, MBAs and things like that. And now I don't know. IT and now post-IT, I have no idea what. Maybe it's health.
The post-IT world, I don't know.
No idea. We'll find out soon, yeah.
And so then I took 2 classes, and I was always interested in, kind of economics and history. I love history and politics. And I took those 2 classes, and I really didn't like them. And so I immediately spoke to my mom and dad once, and I said, listen, I want to transfer out. And
business is none of your business.
Yes, I said.
Okay, I'll tell you what, we'll take a quick break, and then we'll come back with lots more to talk about, try and fit in the second half of your career. Well, actually, the starting of your career, but the important part is how you moved from Cornell towards this route.
Yeah, it's not been a very long career. So
don't judge by time, but the new generation, am I right? We'll be back in a sec.
Some time ago, 5 successful restaurateurs came together to form the Colaba cartel. The founders of the table, Gauri Devi Dayal and Jay Yusuf, partnered with the founders of Woodside Inn, Abhishek Honawar, Pankil Shah, and Sumit Gambhir to open a new restaurant in Colaba. If you've ever dreamed of opening a restaurant or love eating out, you want to listen in. The Colaba Cartel. This exclusive 10-part series is hosted by Gauri Devi Dayal and Amit Doshi. Catch new episodes of the Colaba Cartel every Monday and Thursday on the IVM Podcasts app, website, or wherever you get your podcasts.
All right, after the shortest break ever, Nihaal Mariwala is still with us, and we are sort of looking at his journey. Went to Cornell, did 2 classes of business. How generations have just changed in front of my eyes. No guy in the 80s would have gone to a business class and walked out, being from our background and from India. It just wouldn't have happened. Yeah. But now you're lucky enough that, parents are liberal enough or have opened their eyes to the truth and can understand all this. You decided this is not for me, and you stuck to your 2 majors, which is history and politics.
History and political science.
Okay, so what happens then in your life?
Tried to get a job after I graduated.
You stayed in
I wanted to stay in the US because I had a year left on my visa.
Right.
And I knew that chance is probably never going to come again.
Obama was the president.
Yes.
Not that that's an issue. I'm just saying.
And so I said, I'm going to stay back and try to find a job. And I was just looking for jobs in everything. So I looked at... somebody offered me a job as like an admissions counselor for colleges. And I was like, I'm not really sure that I want to do that. I thought about, going to law school. I thought about doing journalism. And then was kind of meandering, hadn't really decided on anything, and was getting very stressed about it. And my dad said, listen, until you figure it out, why don't you come and work for me in the US? You want to stay in the US anyway. We need someone in Morristown. And I said, all right, sure, but I'm not going to live in Morristown.
So what's this Morristown? The way you said it the first time, now we have no idea. Is it like the Boondocks?
It's kind of the Boondocks. It's an hour outside of New York by train.
And that's terrible, huh?
Yeah.
Because you're sort of in New York, but not really.
Yeah.
What's the point?
Yeah. And but it's very it's like the headquarters of Pfizer, and it's kind of like a very
all the pharmacy people of the world.
Rich, old, white town, basically.
Okay, that's ageist. Sexist, racist. Thank you. Let me see what I can take from your collection to feel better. Yeah. A bit too slow for you, is it?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have to spend a lot of time there outside of going to work and coming back.
Where were the girls in all this? Girls have to play a role.
The girls were in New York.
But there are no girls outside New York? America, what's happened to you?
There's not. But yeah, and then, so I worked there for a couple of years, and I worked with a lot of brands in the US. He
sidetracked my girls' question. I said, you did it all.
Did I do it wisely?
You did it well. You just skipped along.
And,
so while working with your dad in Morristown, you felt it was a waste of time? Or what?
No. So I quite enjoyed that, actually.
The work part?
Yeah.
But didn't like where you were?
I didn't love being in Morristown, but I loved being in New York. So really, I have no complaints outside of that.
Where did you stay while you were at Morristown?
I lived in New York City.
So you go up and down every day?
I would do a 1-hour commute every day.
So you know what it's like in Mumbai now?
I know what it's like in Bombay.
All those people who come all the way from Nalasopara to Nariman Point.
I actually don't mind taking the train in Bombay.
Are you crazy?
No,
Our
really
Russia,
don't.
But even their Russia is pretty bad.
Yeah, it's all bad,
It's not fun. People pushing, shoving. Nobody has time for you.
It's just a little bit cooler, the weather, that's all.
Also, they don't stare at you. They all try to not make eye
There's
contact.
There's a lot less personal contact.
Yeah.
But
elbow touching is a huge no-no there. You might get shot. You don't want that. Here it's just part of your life, and you might marry the person after 3 or 4 trips. Yeah. Okay, so let's now segue into what happens next to you. You're in Morristown, but you feel a sense of this is not exactly...
I knew I wanted to come back to India. But at that point, I also knew.
But in your mind, you'd abandoned history and politics.
No, it's still in the back of my mind.
Okay.
I'm just trying to make a little bit of money now, to be honest.
Okay, fair enough.
But I worked with a lot of brands in the US who are buying from my dad's company.
Right.
So I kind of got to see the US market firsthand, and the US is just insane for this kind of stuff. It's
For drugs,
for supplements. It's the most evolved market in the world, really. So it was a lot to learn from. Lots of interesting
In terms of
brands.
sales, where are we? I mean, we're a huge country.
Yeah.
Or say China's a huge country
Yeah.
also. But in terms of spending potential, obviously huge. But where are we vis-a-vis what actually is spent by the American population in the health business?
So in terms of supplements strictly, or kind of life
supplements, and let's put everything wellness. I don't know what is the right word.
Yeah, I think wellness is probably the right word.
Which in vitamins and everything.
Yeah, everything, including Bonvita and that type of
all
stuff.
that.
Yeah. People say that India is about a $4 billion market.
Okay.
I don't know that that's necessarily accurate. I would say it's a little bit smaller than that. But it's also because so much is so informal. If you're thinking about counting Ayurveda, and then a lot of these products still go through doctor prescriptions.
Ayurveda is huge.
Ayurveda is massive.
Honestly, I like to use it from time to time.
Yeah,
I just feel safer.
Yeah.
It's the same medication, you go back to Ayurveda. I don't know, maybe it's a wrong theory, but a lot of people think that way. Safer route is that.
Yeah. A lot of people think that because it's, natural products and that kind of thing. And then also a lot of these products go through the pharma channel in India today. So doctors will prescribe them. So it's a little bit tough to put an accurate number on it. I'd say about $1 billion to $1.5 billion.
That's it.
The US is, I'm not sure what the accurate number is, but I would say it's in like 20 to 30 billion. And what's starting to happen is a lot of big food companies, Nestle,
they're moving to health and
are starting to move into buying.
Is that true that their main products are now getting, because people are turning their backs on anything unhealthy, etc., and they're seeing a dip, and so they have to survive, and so they're going towards health, or is it just like a story?
Yeah, it is true. So,
God, what's going to happen to the world?
I don't know.
We have to change this whole thing, man. We can't eat healthy things that all look the same.
I mean, healthy food doesn't have to taste bad.
No, it does. Most of it does.
Almost always does, but not
Have
always.
you had your last protein shake?
Yeah, I did this morning.
Yeah, that's the sad part about all this.
Yeah.
Okay, now coming back to the beginning of the entire... first let's finish your journey. So you come back to Bombay.
So I worked in the US for 2 years, and then I came back to Bombay, and I knew I wanted to start something in the kind of health and wellness space, food or dietary supplement based. And I say food also because a lot of this stuff now extends into, food delivery formats. So a powder or, a bar or stuff like that.
Could one live off all that? Could one actually, if money is not an issue, could one actually have a lifestyle where you only eat? We're talking about romance of food and all, throw it out of the window.
Sure.
And I just have protein bars, protein powders, drinks, vitamin C, vitamin A, everything in drink form or whatever, pill form. Is it possible to survive?
You could. I don't know someone who's done it for a very long period of time, but I was just telling the producers outside even that I read about a guy who takes 150 of these products a day. Which is completely crazy. But he's convinced.
Is his name Vladimir Putin?
No.
That guy's out of control. I've seen him on horses without clothes on. I think he gives the horses stuff as well. It's like, come on, horse, finish the bar. And no double meaning. I mean the protein bar, please. We have women in the studio. I don't want trouble later. But you've already made racist comments, so we're fine.
No, I did not.
It's off the cuff. Anything goes. Nobody cares. Nobody listens. We're fine. I just asked you this because we think of this as a joke. Sitting around and joking about these things because, X is a guy who's got all the boxes at home, etc. But there's coming a time when people are going to be so straitjacketed, it looks like, that they'll do everything, as you mentioned in the beginning, to sort of calculating scheme, and everything is mathematical in a sense, and you just follow a chart like a dietitian would give you, and you could actually literally eat gram for gram that mathematical figure that you desire with all the ratios of vitamins and supplements that you desire.
Yes.
And that's your life.
Yeah.
No Chinese food, no Thai
food.
food.
Do that already. Big pockets in like California and stuff in the US.
Well, the Rajya Sabha, for example.
Also the
don't
Rajya
get
Sabha,
great food there.
They work so hard that they need that
Oops!
stuff.
Be nice. Get into the business. Yeah, we need them to survive. Okay, so again, I interrupted the whole flow about Mumbai. So you're back here.
Yes.
Now you all want to move from just supplying stuff to actually being the big daddy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not so much in the US, so as to not piss off our clients and
like Imran Khan, you'll start at home and then move on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so we decided we would start it at home and try to figure out what to do. And so that's how Setu came along. And I had kind of been working out a bunch of ideas in my head based on what I'd seen in the US market. And kind of tried to adapt those to the Indian market. Because in India today, you see a lot of competing there's a lot of competing spaces for the same solution, right? So there's pharma, there's Ayurveda, there is, I'll fix it at home with whatever I can do.
Oh. Homeopathy, don't forget, my mother's favorite.
Of course, yes.
My mother in homeopathy, she has sold that to everybody we know. I have seen people dying after accidents. My mom would put 5 white pills in their mouth. The guy's 4 organs have failed, arm has come off, and she's like 5 white pills twice a day, and you're done. Arnica. My mother thinks arnica is a cure for everything.
Arnica is everything,
I'm sorry, a fracture. My son got a fracture. She's giving him arnica. I said, no, mom, we have to go to a doctor, and it was a fracture. Oh, I took the arnica just to get through the whole... Sorry to diss homeopathy. I'm sure it's great. But there's that. There's also old wives' tales.
Yeah, there's all of that stuff, right? And there's doctors and there's, pharmacies and big pharma.
We forgot about doctors. Somebody should remember the bloody doctors. Yeah. Those old guys in coats used to come and hold your wrist for a little while. Yeah. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, and so because there's all that competition, we really, had to try to figure out what specific space within it to occupy. And it's a tough place to play in because you have to compete with people who believed in Ayurveda for generations or people that blindly put faith in doctors. So it's kind of trying
to mention other things
culture.
Like cost.
Like cost, cost is important also.
Do you think people are loyal in the sense that if I buy a Setu product, then I want to stay with them? As, say, my father being a smoker, terrible metaphor, in the 70s and 60s or whatever, would stay with only, say, Foursquare for so many years.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we're trying to create, right? We've only been around 6 months, but we've seen that that's the case.
So do you have loyal customers? Is that the way it works, or people come and go?
We do have loyal customers. There's still majority of people come and go. Mm-hmm. But we've started to cultivate
who do you talk to, the mother? Who are you talking to in a family?
So... that's a good question. A lot of people ask me if you're talking to the mother. And when we started, I kind of had this ambitious idea that, we would want to hit a lot of people in the 30 to 40 age group. And it would be... We sell online.
Also because if they don't take it, then 40 to 50 don't exist.
Yeah.
This is the point. The point is well made. 30 to 40, so you can see 40 to 50. Yeah.
Well, part of that's also because we sell online. And so obviously 30 to 40 is bulk of the audience. Well, not bulk, but a large part of the audience online.
Let's make it clear. The ones who pay, who can make payments.
Yes.
Let's hope the others can't make payments.
Yes.
Because my kids are online all the time. So they're not using credit cards. All right, sorry.
So 30 to 40. The challenge is that this is India and majority of buyers are always men.
So that's the fitness side of it, right? Or is it true that men experiment more with this? Sorry to say that, but experiment more with the whole health thing. Like
I think the size of the audience of men is just so much larger that a bulk of our buyers end up being men. But I think in terms of what we're trying to communicate, a lot of our content, a little bit of the more softer messaging, I think the mom or the woman in the household is the right person to hit because they really make a lot of the purchase.
But they're holistic products. So I'm thinking that if someone programs with the house and say, my kids will need vitamin C, for example, or ALAs will be more specifically for my husband, or people. So I think from that planning, it would make sense if somebody was looking at the whole holistically, the whole family. But if you look at sex toys and how well they are doing right now, and I don't know this because I've only bought about 50, 60 products and now I'm trying to sell them. People also free themselves online. Yeah. So in a sense, I don't have to answer to anyone.
No.
So I can actually take a chance with liver supplements.
Yes.
Otherwise I'm feeling a little funny telling people I'm taking a liver supplement, I'm only 38 years old, etc.
Yes. Yeah,
so,
I think that's true. And even for more kind of cosmetic things, beauty, those types of things, people are a lot more comfortable making those buying decisions online. Offline, you'll still rely on a doctor, or you'll ask the chemist or something like that.
I think those days are going. This whole human, I think in these kind of, maybe I'm wrong, but in these kind of purchases, I think you need to keep it private. You just feel happier doing all this on your own and not having too much interface contact with a human being.
Sure, but with your doctor, you would say that.
But that whole idea of the doctor goes out the window slowly because we're all self-medicating in a sense.
Yeah,
we're relying on you guys, and of course, there's a point when you need a doctor, but there's a point when you're a little, beyond the capacity.
But also a doctor, unless you have kids, so you probably interact with doctors.
You say that like it's a bad thing, and you're right.
No, it's not a bad thing.
You're absolutely
you probably
right.
interact with doctors a lot more than normal folk.
No, only mental health specialists, and that's more to do with my parents. I have no idea what I go through on a daily basis.
But the idea of the GP is largely dead today.
He's dead.
Yeah.
Well, that's a sad thing to say, but you're right.
It is largely dead.
Oops. This is the most tragic program I've been on. We've destroyed so many people. Professions. People are homeless. Families have no food. But you're right. Why would you? You just go online and say, we do that. Everybody, parents do that. And you know what they really do? Amongst younger parents, my generation and younger, they will talk to other parents.
Yes.
And that's their doctor.
And then make decisions.
And then make decisions. You take this medication because this will happen to so-and-so.
Yeah.
And that's good enough.
Yeah.
And then they go straight to you and buy.
Yeah.
And that's all. The middleman's gone. The doctor's gone.
So what
The
we're
nurse
trying,
stays, though. I love the nurse.
So what we're trying to do is to change that, right? Basically, because what's happening is people are self-medicating. People are going to specialists rather than going to GPs or people that address more. See, you would go to a GP in the past, and your GP would know everything about your life, right?
Yeah.
Your good Parsi GP would know everything about
Communal point as well. Fairly made.
where you were born, what you've eaten.
No,
what
he's like a family member. I get
everything.
your point totally. That's
and
just
today, if you have a stomach issue, you Google a gastroenterologist. You go to the gastroenterologist. There's no real.
I think the worst part is we come armed with information for the doctor.
Yeah, and then you
that's
say,
really
"Boss,
irritating.
what are you telling me?
Yeah, these are the 7. Yeah. These are the 5 things that have happened to me.
Yeah.
And can you help me? Yeah.
And so what we're trying to do is to take that outside of the realm of the preventive health is your business.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe you need a nudge from a nutritionist or something in the right direction, but it's not really about. A lot of drugs today fundamentally address symptoms rather than addressing root causes. And root causes basically come from your diet or your lifestyle.
Give us an example.
Anything, even if you take a crocin, it doesn't address the fact that you have a headache because of something. It
just
numbs the pain of the headache.
The top of the pyramid.
Yeah.
Just the headache issue.
Yeah.
Okay, we're running out of time, so quickly I want to get into 2 things. The name.
Yes.
Which is, I think Ramayan also, isn't that from there?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what it is. It links.
Yes, so the idea is a bridge. I clearly didn't think about the consequences.
Also, Andheri happened later.
Yes.
Couple of bridges falling in Mumbai. Hey, that's got nothing to do with us. Yeah.
I clearly didn't think about I wanted an Indian name.
This is purely you, huh?
This is purely me, yeah.
Nobody interfered with the name
I
call.
was sitting
Dad
in a
didn't
room
say,
and 10 options and then go through the options.
Finally got your creative moment.
I had to see whether the website was available, basically.
That's the truth about creativity. You're right. Bang on. Okay.
But it means a bridge, and what we're trying to do is essentially, build a bridge between your current healthful state and a better state. And, improve where you are, essentially.
It's a catchy name, easy on the tongue. Also, so what are the future plans now?
The future...
India market first.
The plans are only the India market. A lot of stuff is changing in the product portfolio as well. We're looking at things like, a turmeric product, because turmeric is, hot and happening. Proteins, we're looking at hair, skin and nails related products. So a little bit more in the realm of, again, taking care of your own nutrition needs than strictly clinical issues.
As a very bad ambassador for fitness in India myself, can I just ask you, how localized is the thinking? Because I know when you're trying to do bodybuilding and things like that, we always are stuck, watching videos and reading about cultures which are a little different from us genetically.
Yes.
Food,
yes.
The way they train, everything else. And so sometimes it's not easy to make those connections because it's much easier if you localize it to a point where the person can totally understand what's happening.
Yeah.
There's a gap,
yes,
in a sense.
For sure. So you're completely right in that a lot of the products that are on the market today are either imported or they're prescription driven, and so that exact gap where we're trying to customize and localize products to people. Also, that's like you said, because we have heavy carb diets, for example, heart and diabetes issues are huge.
But yet nobody dies. We're 1.4 billion or something. Every time you say anybody died, no, he's still alive. Just nobody dies.
Yeah.
Why are we so many people?
I don't know.
Can you do that business as well, or is that not allowed yet by law?
That's a bit dark.
There's too many people in that market. Be careful. Yeah.
So addressing those kinds of issues, because of bad water, for example, digestive issues. Because of pollution, lung-related issues, all non-communicable diseases.
So why do we have so many digestive issues in India? Is it just the nutrition or is there something else to it?
It's both. It's largely the quality of water.
Or the kind of entertainment they throw at us and we can't take it anymore.
Yeah, all that. Yeah.
No, but is that fair to say that we have digestive issues
yes.
as a country which is more than the norm?
Actually, I'm not sure that it's more than the norm, but the rise of digestion as a category in supplementation outside of the realm of, again, big drugs has been massive globally because of probiotics and people understanding the microbiome a little bit more. In
How
detail.
important are these probiotics?
They're fairly
for people like
important.
us, for urban Indians.
They're fairly important.
Are we missing on that? Is it something that you
we are
recommend
missing
to
on
most
that.
of us?
I mean, ideally, you are eating enough dahi and you're consuming something. But again, the problem with dahi is it depends on the quality of the milk. And the quality of the milk is largely influenced a lot by quality of water also, for example.
And 200 of our best cows were sent
And
to
our best
Rwanda.
cows are gone. So
what about that? I got 300 good cows left in India, 200 went to Rwanda, never to be seen again. Now they took them happily. Rwanda said, thank you India, very good. We look after them.
Yeah.
And we never heard of those cows
They're
again.
never going to need probiotics.
I
again.
don't know. I'm just putting it out there. There might be some problem with this whole story. Someone should do an after check. You can't just leave things like that. We're pulling Nihal's leg, but great stuff. Can you give us a quick roundup of what all is available?
Yeah, sure.
And what is the popular stuff? And,
Sure. So we're in 5 categories today, which I should mention are also kind of in a state of flux. We're changing them. But the primary categories, the one big product that we've seen resonate really well is, interestingly, in vision. It's a product called IMAX, which, as the name tells you, is intended for your eyes.
Egotistical.
Is a little bit egotistical.
IMAX.
I didn't think
everything.
of that. And so what it does is it basically gives you fundamental nutrients that you need in your eye that help protect against damage from UV rays and blue light. We spend many hours a day on screens.
We have a harsh sun, there's no doubt about it.
We have a harsh sun as well, many hours a day on
The
screens.
richer ones, we don't really see it. But, there are people in India exposed to sun every day.
And still massively vitamin D deficient, so that's another
How does that happen?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it addresses a lot of the issues around, tired eyes, protecting your eyes from UV rays from screens, making sure they're adequately lubricated. Sounds a bit weird.
Sounds terrible.
Yeah.
'Cause I was thinking tired. I was thinking about the porn I've been watching. I can't see anymore because I need a bigger phone. And then you say lubricate and the whole show's turned.
And it fundamentally helps you, address issues. So one of the things that...
so this is also a big issue, one of these hidden stories?
Yeah, it is a hidden story. One of the big things that exposure to screens also does is mess with your sleep cycles, for example. Mm-hmm. This helps you essentially regulate those sleep cycles. Issues like that people don't really necessarily intuitively pick up on. But
when do I take this? Like you said, 30 to 40. Do I take this when I feel my eyes are... No, as in at what age do you think?
No, so this is a basic nutrient that's currently in the back of your eye. And as you age, it depletes.
Okay.
So everyone needs it. And there is clinical work done, as young as the prenatal level also.
Really?
In terms of supplementation of lutein specifically, which is the key ingredient in IMAX, for cognition and vision.
So Nihal, you know your stuff? If I ask you about the ingredients, you'll be able to tell me?
Most of them, yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. Luckily, I can't see. I have to take IMAX once a day for 3 months, and then I'll get back to you on the questions. Okay, we discussed the yogurt, the bacteria, the good bacteria vis-a-vis the bad,
Yes.
etc., the balance. What else? The vitamins. What is this whole multivitamin fascination as against per vitamin? I don't understand the maths behind that. Do I take a multivitamin, in which case, why do I have to take vitamin A, vitamin B complex, etc., separately?
Yeah. There's a big challenge today around vitamins and minerals in India because the Indian government regulation is very prohibitive. So you're looking at a situation where, for example, B12 Indians are massively deficient in.
Yeah. Thalassemia. What is that? Thalassemia.
Thalassemia is. So B12, the recommended daily allowance that you can put in a product in India is, I think, like 1.2 micrograms. And as against if you contrast it with the US, is like 400 micrograms. So that gives you a sense of, it becomes very tough for me, for example, as an entrepreneur, to really create products around basic vitamin and mineral deficiencies.
Unless you're selling to the US.
Unless I'm selling to the US.
Which is the next plan, clearly, now. Because nobody's listening to us in Parliament.
But yeah, so people take, the multivitamins fundamentally to address...
No, my point is, again, I'm not trying to kill the business. Why can't I just take one multivitamin, which seems to have everything in it? And I go through the list sometimes.
You
just
should.
The amounts are less.
You should. The amounts are less, though, if you would buy an Indian product. As against if you got tested and you knew that you were deficient in B12 and D3. And you can just take those rather
So
than...
you take what you're saying is, if that's the case, you take the one you're deficient in, let's say B12, plus the multivitamin. Am I right?
Sure, yeah.
But you don't need to
Correct.
take A, C, B, T, L, M, G.
No,
Is there a vitamin G?
No, there isn't.
Vitamin K?
Yes.
Potassium?
No.
M?
K2,
N?
no M, no N.
X?
No X.
No,
That's
vitamin
a good
X.
one, though.
I want X.
That's a good one.
Why don't we make sure that we invent vitamin X? No, it makes no sense. We'll figure out the sense later.
Yeah, what does it do, though?
Just makes you better in the bedroom when you're alone, which is my social life. There's got to be something for that as well. It can't only be about couples and groups and all that. What about the guy who's alone all the time, which is most of
Big
India?
market.
But why be 1.4 billion people if everybody's alone? and nobody dies. It's just not adding up, man.
I don't know what all
Get your
those lonely
scientists
guys
in here.
on social media.
Listen, before we wind up, we've talked too much shop. Let's talk a little bit about you. What do you do? What's your life like beyond, you seem like you come from a royalty business family and all that, but what else is there about Nihal? What do you do? What's your fun thing to do?
I'm a big football fan.
Really? Liverpool hammered Man U.
I'm a Liverpool fan. You a Liverpool
You're a Liverpool fan? Oh, excellent. My son will like you. He's got a new uncle. Because there's nobody who's a Liverpool fan in his school.
Yeah, they're all United.
Why does that happen?
Because it's glory hunters, no?
Glory hole, I understand. Glory hunter, I don't. But amazing. Yeah. I just know how they get that charp of... and it's not just India. In China, everywhere. It's all the third world countries. Everywhere. They love Man U for some reason.
But listen, this is our season, so...
You think?
Oh, yeah.
The German is spending money?
For sure.
Why is that? He said he will not spend money before. So now he will spend the money.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're going to go and watch...
I did EPL? Actually go... I went to the Champions League final, which was not ideal, but it was awesome.
But up to there, what was it? Mohamed Salah. Tell us about him.
I didn't get to see him play.
No, I know, but what a year.
Yeah, what a year. I mean, so I love sports. Football, cricket, tennis, all of that stuff. So very excited for next month. The last few weekends have kind of been a little bit laid back.
What do you think of the World Cup?
I loved it. I had a great time watching it. I'm not a big France fan.
Croatia would go all the way?
I did not think so, no.
It really came out of left field, that one, yeah.
Yeah, but it would have been nice if they won, but... and then,
again, the romance of sport, but sometimes you win, sometimes you
the romance was lost this year with both the Champions League final and...
But what about France winning with their multi-ethnic...
That's true.
Only two actual French-based...
There is some romance there, but hopefully people will stop being so, weird about it.
There's a paradox in that they've closed their borders.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean.
But the team is filled of people who made it through. Yeah, but, this is a modern world. Let's not point fingers. We're India. A country of mixed origins, as far as I know. Okay, we have to run out of time, or rather we are running out of time. Nihal, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Just one last question. How much do you earn?
I don't get paid, actually.
What are you saying?
No.
And people think that, this whole business thing is a good idea. You don't take a rupee?
No.
So how do you pay for the C-Link to come to the podcast?
Oh, I use my dad's car.
Excellent. All right. EMA is coming next.
So it's been another great week on IVM Podcast. If you're not following us on social media, please do. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Last week, we launched a new podcast called the Kinetic Living Podcast with Urmi Kothari. It's a show about keeping fit both physically and mentally. Listen to our conversations with some of the most interesting people and how they went on their fitness journeys. On Cyrus Says this week, Cyrus speaks to Nihaal Mariwala, co-founder of Setu India. They speak about health culture in this country. On Colaba Cartel, I'm joined by Gauri, Jay, Abhishek, and Sumit, who reveal how they came up with the concept for the new restaurant, Miss T. On Geek Fruit this week, Tejas and Dinkar discuss all things in pop culture that are so bad they're hilariously good. This week on Shunya One, Sheila Ditya speaks to Nitya Sharma from Simple. That's the sign you see every time you have to enter the OTP for your payments on the apps that you use. On The Scene and the Unseen, Amit Verma speaks to journalist and China expert Manoj Kevaralmani to dissect China's foreign policy and its impact on India. And with that, let's continue with your show.
If you have any questions for Cyrus, write to us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Or you can send an email to whatcyrussays@gmail.com.
All right, EMA time, and Nihal is joined by our producer and leader, Abbas.
Leader?
You're the leader, you're the producer. Okay. Do you know how it works? Sure. The producer is the boss.
Okay.
The anchor is supposed to listen to him. And the guest is neutral. He's like Switzerland. He comes and does his thing and he's really not interfering with the hierarchy. But this Nihal has changed everything. He's given us 2 free bottles and now we have to listen to whatever he says. There you go. All right, what's up?
Okay, so we got a lot of questions and we shall kick off.
Okay, first, Abbas, don't lie. We have no questions. In the little journey of yours from Baikala all the way here, you write down 20 questions.
That is true, yes.
All right,
and I make up the names also.
Names are easy.
So on Twitter, Real Pandit asks, is there any way to reduce unnecessary honking?
Good question. As a guy who's traveled 2 worlds and lived and worked in 2 worlds, so you know both societies properly. In New York, maybe you'll get away, but in many parts of the world, you cannot blow a horn. I mean, just in Switzerland, for example, I remember driving and blew a horn once and the looks would have killed us. What do you think?
I love honking.
Oops, that sounds terrible.
I would never do it in Europe or the US, but I love doing it here. It's a great...
But we don't seem to understand that it's a bit of a, violating of other people's sort of space.
Yeah. And also just kind of builds, you're already enough tension in traffic, and then it kind of just...
My pet peeves are the motorcyclists who just keep the horn on. as they weave through. I mean, it's just, why?
You don't drive around the suburbs enough. The rickshaw drivers are even worse.
I hate those people. We should not hate people. Generally, it's a bad thing to say, but I hate them. I really hate. I wonder sometimes if one of them fell out of the rickshaw and your car's speeding, what would you do? No, as in, would you, after running over him, reverse as well, or would you just run over him?
All right, yeah.
Those were the two choices I gave myself.
Or you could apply the brakes.
What?
Yeah.
What are you thinking, man? What are you on? Yeah, take this bacteria stuff for your gut. And it's called, if I can only find the name, what's it called?
Yogurt.
Sure.
It's right there. Okay.
All right, next question. Girish Gogia asks a very serious question. He's like, do you think the government should reveal the details and clear the air about the Rafale deal?
Accountability, right to information, good one. What do you think?
Me again?
Yeah.
I thought it's ask you anything.
You're Switzerland.
I think, they probably should.
Huh? As in, not just that, should they reveal everything about everything, or are there some things that we should not be told?
There's some things we shouldn't be told.
So, what would that be?
They should probably reveal everything.
Make up your mind.
I changed my mind.
Okay, Auntie in Making on Twitter asks, as part of my bucket list in Mumbai, I want to be an extra in the background of some movie. Based on your movie experiences,
as an extra in the background of many movies,
how do you suggest a Desi person gets to do this?
Well, now it's a bit tough because they've got unions and all that. So even to get into it, and they have 3 categories, A, B and C. Because we have a caste system everywhere.
There's an extras union.
Yes, and A category is like the glorified extra, the one who's almost Salman but didn't make it. Then B is like the, the lower jacket fellow. And then C is like that guy who, he's the worst guy. He's the 4th row dancer at the back thing. So it's not going to be easy. But if one of you making a film, and they could make a movie, then it's a personal thing, and then they can give her a chance.
We'll keep in mind her Twitter handle.
But Auntie in the Making, we auditioned for podcasts in dim light and quiet surroundings.
I also am an extra in a podcast only.
Are you?
You do the show and I watch from the background, from behind.
You must be feeling proud.
I do every single day.
Self-esteem going through the roof. Every day you get up, put on your clothes and say, wow, I get to be an extra in some stupid podcast. Yeah, we'll try. But Bollywood is also now corporatized a little bit.
Unless you're white, though. I think white people, it's much easier to be an
if you're
extra.
white, it's pretty easy. I was walking with a couple of friends down Colaba Causeway.
That's Leopold. They just call you for a drink. That's different. We're talking about...
Oh, maybe that's all right.
Launching a career. Yeah.
All right.
Or maybe now that we have Netflix and all that, the internet film, what is that, Sacred Game sort of film, there she has a chance.
True.
Because there they'll pay you less or you pay them. Because it's all different, the structuring.
Sacred Games is all rough and gritty people.
Saif had to pay for that, yeah.
Even he's rough and gritty in that.
Yes.
Next question?
Please.
All right. Mayuresh asks you, where does Cyrus rate Pink Floyd as a band?
See, I grew up in the 80s, so I was forced to listen to Pink Floyd. It's not like I couldn't. Not bad, but see, I'm a Beatles guy. I can't change. I like 2 or 3 songs.
Of Pink Floyd?
Yeah, I like Mother.
Oh,
just because I hear the word balls in it. So, just get really excited like we're 15 or 16 and they're waiting for that one word. Indians, it's all about the bad word. Who the f*** is Alice? Huge hit. Nobody knows the words.
Big one.
Nobody knows the words of the song. But who the f*** is Alice? On f***, everybody's in. Everybody jumps. We're talking, Mr. and Mrs. Sharma having a drink. Beta, I told you should not do this. And Alice! 1 minute. Who the f*** is Alice? Beta, I told you we should not discuss this in public. Haven't you noticed that? It's a phenomenon. Please notice that. Play the song and on the bad word they all jump in. So, mother, they're going to try to break my balls. Everybody would say balls. Everybody I knew. And not the next line. I still don't know the next line. Pink Floyd doesn't know the next line. I'm telling you.
Or
I like Floyd. Floyd isn't bad.
Summer of 69, they all come for the 69 part. And
69 and wink, wink, nudge, nudge. A man who's so fat he could never get over a woman in his life would have 69 ning, ning. I mean, come on, really.
Also, what I love is that when...
Why are you touching your thighs and telling me this?
I'm feeling cold.
He started saying, after I said Alice, Mother, don't you know they're trying to break my
thighs. All right, last question. Again, very direct question. Pun of God on Twitter asks, who are you voting for in 2019?
Oh, nice. Come on, Mr. Mariwala, this is
no.
Come on, your vote counts. Your vote counts.
It's your question.
Come on. What kind of person asks this question? It's like asking your mother's age. You just don't reveal these kind of things.
Very private.
Yeah. Wife is one thing, but mother, come on. Nothing sacred. Tough one, but I'll put it out there. I want more work from our politicians.
Yeah.
They want my vote. I want more work.
I can go with that. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm saying, why don't you sell the vote off just like that? Give me more.
Yeah.
Give me
you think it makes sense to press the nota button? None of the above.
No, I think that's rubbish.
That's an interesting debate, but I don't. Yeah, it's tough.
What's the point of
I
that?
thought about it, but again, what's the point?
Why get up then?
You have to have a lot of people vote Nota then.
Yeah, then the whole world votes Nota. But coming back, but does that mean that the defending champion then continues?
I don't know. I don't know.
That's the way in
So
sport-
yeah, it's like the
in sports
next after Nota, whoever gets the most votes.
Yeah, so then
they take.
See, I don't know. I'm just saying that we need a little more chilled out governance also. So I want people, when you come to, I think they should all tell us one good joke.
They need to focus on the right things, joking.
Yeah. Humor is important.
Yeah.
And also less clothing. I feel we wear too much for a hot country. Why you got a bandi and a funny and the hat and this and what the hell are you doing? Ganji and maybe a pair of shorts. And a tie if you want to just doll up a bit. I'm okay with a tie. Yeah. So let's wait. 2019 May if it happens. It may happen earlier from what I'm told.
Yeah.
Let's see. So let them. What do you say? You give us an answer. Honestly,
I say we gotta. The way I think about it is, I'm not even like concerned about the nationals. I'm like, let's vote for whoever is good for this little pocket. And so as long as someone can send a message that resonates with that, whether it's Malabar Hill or Bandra or wherever it is.
Malabar Hill, there's no hope.
Yeah,
you get in the CM's car. Just forget it. It doesn't make any sense.
It's the best shot, yeah.
But I think that's a very good way to think. Again, localizing a little bit.
Yeah.
We worry too much about the big picture.
Yeah,
Let's worry about the little
it's really
picture first.
irrelevant.
Yeah. We do care about what's happening in very smaller parts of Jabalpur, is it? Is it Jabalpur? P-U-R, is it? I'm just kidding. I've been to Jabalpur 3 times. Yeah, but it's wrong. In South Bombay or South Delhi or parts of Bangalore, the rich are sitting and discussing, a little area in the northeast where they have never gone and about some issue there. I think we have to start at home. Charity begins at home. Start at home.
Yeah.
And then take it from there.
Cool, that's it for the AMAs.
That's it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
He's just warming up. Nihal's ready to go. All right. Thank you, Nihal, for being there. And
Thank
now
you.
we'll consume the IMAX. And let me see if my wife looks better in the morning. Okay, catch us on any of the podcasting apps, please. We beg you. We need you. If you have any questions, write to us online. And you can mail us as well. We will answer. We have a doctor in the house called me.
And that's what Cyrus says.
अगर आपकी जिंदगी में कोई ऐसी आपको दुविधा हो जिसका सवाल कोई दे नहीं पा रहा तो हमने बनाया है आपके लिए एक खास शो जिसका नाम है सुन लो जी सुन लो जी जिस पर मैं पवन कुमार आपका सूत्रधार आपका स्वागत करता हूँ ताकि आप पूछ सके सवाल सोनू से
Yes, I am Sonu. Hello, pleased to make your meeting. I am a super reality celebrity और दुनिया के कोई भी प्रॉब्लम नहीं है जो सेलिब्रिटी सॉल्व नहीं कर सकते तो मैं आपके सारे प्रॉब्लम्स का हलाइजेशन एंड सॉल्वाइजेशन कर दूंगा
तो जी हाँ सोचिए मत जरूर सुनिए सुन लो जी सुन लो जी हर बुधवार दैट इज वेडनेसडे
प्लीज लाइक आइज शेयर आइज कमेंट आइज अगर आपके पास कोई भी प्रॉब्लम्स है सोनू को बताइए सोनू सारे प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व कर सकता है इसी तरह तो मैं सुपर सेलिब्रिटी बना हूँ
Hi, I am Vishal Gondal, an entrepreneur. I've had the chance to meet and understand how some of the super achievers have hacked their way to success and they have done spectacular innovations. Now I take a closer look at these people's lives to find out what lies beneath the force. Only on the Vishal Gondal Show. Episodes out fortnightly on Wednesdays on the IVM website, app or your favorite podcasting platform.